Hello, and welcome to your Online Strength Coach podcast, episode 56, A Day in the Life. Hello, and welcome to episode 56 of your Online Strength Coach podcast. If you listen to the last episode, which will have just been uploaded, you will have noticed two things. One, that I have not uncommonly got the number of the episode wrong. It was in fact episode 55. And the date today is the 9th of November 2015. The topic of today's episode is more of a self-selected topic rather than from a question. And it's basically strength and conditioning, for some unbeknownst reason, is a hugely popular field for people who are either interested in training. I have a previous sports background, or who come out the back end with a sports science degree and realise that it's about as much use as toilet paper. So naturally they look for a vocation they can get into. And strength and conditioning seems like a fun job. It seems like a fairly stable job, and it looks like something that you can get into and make a living out of, and while away your days until your retirement age, working in the gym, training with athletes, or working with rugby players in a suite. So what I like to do is I like to just go through a day in my life. What a typical day would be, not just within strength and conditioning, but also within what I do outside of work and kind of how it goes. So I'm going to start with what's probably going to happen tomorrow. So Tuesday will be one of our main training days. So on one of our main training days, typically what will happen is I will wake up at about 5 o'clock. Sometimes 10 to 5. I will get up, shower, get my breakfast. Breakfast is normally just a protein shake. If even that, it's normally just coffee. Then I walk about 40 minutes, normally in the pissing rain because it's in Scotland. Get to work probably about 6 or 10 to 6. Then I get about an hour to train. And that's kind of my main training block. I'll do that hour in the morning. Finish that, shower up, I'll head upstairs, and then what I'll do when I go upstairs, I'll start organising for the day. Now typically most of the organisation is done already, as regards the weights program, the block's been written out, all that stuff's been taken care of, so it's putting it into like a more micro detail. So I'll write out, I'll get the session printed out on a few A3 sheets that I can put up in the gym, just alongside the larger cycle. Then I'll sit and answer emails. The amount of emails you get scales with the seniority of the job. So currently I'm the number 2. And as a number 2, I don't have so much admin to do. But as a lead, you can't. I led the program during the preseason. Went away for a week. And of 2 of those was actually training days. When I came back, I had 150 emails in my inbox to answer. So emails can take a while. Emails typically take anywhere for 30 minutes. Normally about 30 minutes is about right. So by the time I've done all my little micro organisation, I've got my printouts on the go, I probably went from 7 till 8. So about an hour of admin work. And then we'll start with team meetings. So team meetings aren't so much, they're more for the technical side or the sport specific side. But within that point of view, we may have 15-20 minutes of contact time or of meeting time. Then we'll prepare for the session. So we do our sport specific sessions first, so that means sorting out GPS units, sorting out heart rate systems, getting the water ready for this session, making sure the warm-up's set up, and setting up for our bit. So we do some monitoring. So for the first training day, we'll do our neuromuscular monitor, which is a kind of movement jump. We use light match for that, something called OptiJump. So normally that will be the job of the 3 or the intern to collect that data while the players are doing their specific mobility. So the first thing they'll do when they come in is they will do a monitor, and on that monitor we will look at wellness, range of motion, like sit and reach, internal, external rotation, things like that. From those scores, they will then be given a specific plan from which to work around. So someone who presents per calf mobility or per knee to wall will be given a specific intervention before they're allowed to come and train to hopefully reduce the risk of injury. So that process will tie up one of our subordinates, or me, for about 20 minutes. And then the setup process normally takes about an hour. So that's an hour like dog work, giving the GPS units to players, make sure players have the correct system on, make sure they've got the correct heart rate on. Then the session will start. During the session, we will do the warm-up. Warm-up's normally between 10 to 20 minutes. Then we will take a supporting role within the session. So our supporting role will be any players who are doing non-contact, for example, during a contact session. We'll take them for top-up fitness. And in return to play players, they will perform their running fitness or their contact fitness during the session off to the side. We'll run water during the session. So the session normally lasts between an hour and a half to 2 hours. And we'll play very much a supporting role within those 2.5 hours. We'll only have maybe 10 to 15 minutes of delivery during that part of the session. And of course, this can be done in the pissing rain, sideways, like wind blowing rain sideways, snow, minus degrees. Like the weather can be utterly shit, or it can be great. It depends. Scotland is fairly variable in that sense. So now it's about 12, half 12. We'll then go in to the change rooms, start to collect. We'll clean the water carriers. We'll make sure the sups are there for the players post training. And then we'll start the process of gathering up the GPS units, gathering up the heart rate systems, gathering RPEs, getting all that information off them. We're talking about an hour-long process. Once that hour is done, we'll normally head up. A fly-in visit to lunch, so it's about 1 o'clock now, or half 1. We're probably about an hour before the gym starts. So within that hour, we'll start creating reports. So we'll create a heart rate report. We'll create a GPS report. GPS report can be between 2 to 3 hours of work. Heart rate report, depending on the content of the heart rate report, can be anywhere from 5 minutes to about 45 minutes of work. And then we'll begin after lunch, and as much stats as we can generate for the coaches and the players, we will then move down to the gym. We normally get there about half an hour before the players, or half an hour before the athletes. We'll set out the gym, so if it's a speed session, that'll mean, or if it's like our typical lower body gym, that means we got prowlers, sleds, plyometrics at the start of the session. So we need to set out the sleds, set out the prowlers, set out the cones, prepare the warm-up, organise the players when they get there, and then we're talking about, normally our gym, because we manage a squad of 46, gym will normally take place over 2 to 3 hours, and within that time, you'll be coaching, spotting, organising, telling off. It's hectic. There's a lot going on within those 2 hours. It's very emotionally draining and very enjoyable. Definitely the most enjoyable part of the job. But it's very demanding. So you'll talk about 2.5 hours. So it's like 4, half 4. So been in work now for about 10 hours. So when the gym's over, got to make sure everything's put away properly. Our guys are pretty good, but 46 people in a gym, there's plates here and there that need tidying up. So we'll do a sweep, tidy up whatever's left, check all the RPEs and the weights log have been filled out properly, put away all of our equipment, make sure everything's secure, good for the night. We'll go through to the players' room again, collect, make sure supplements are secured and put away, make sure all of our equipment's put away, make sure everything's sweet for the night. Then we'll head upstairs to our office. Now, from this point, normally on a Tuesday, we'll have a planning meeting. So planning meeting is when we schedule for the next week, talk to the coaches, talk to any of the management staff that need to organise anything, organise any travel. That's normally between a 30 to 60 minute process. So that'll take us normally from about 4:30 to 5:30. Then we'll come through at 5:30. On a good day, that's home time. But normally there's things to be tidied away, so GPS normally needs to be finished, programming needs to be done. So like for injured players, there's individual program needs to be done. We need to slot them into the schedule. That's a very, very involved process, a very important process, one that normally takes 1 to 2 conditioners' time. So there'll be one of us at any one day that will deliver anywhere from 2 to 3 hours of content or individual content to injured players, and we'll also be spending, for a minimum of 2 to 3 hours of programming for these individuals. And there's at least 2 hours of meetings a week with physiotherapists regarding that aspect of the program. So we're talking about, including my own training time, we're talking like an 11-hour day or 12-hour day. Now for myself, on a Tuesday, I run weightlifting workshops with the university. This is completely off my own back. A workload that I've put on myself that I'm happy to do. But that means for me that I will normally spend from about 6 to 7:30, like travelling and eating. I'll get to the university about 8, sometimes a bit earlier. I'll shoot the shit, chat, a bit of downtime, get a coffee, and then I'll deliver an hour of coaching, and then it's 9:30 and my day's done, and I'll go home and go to sleep. Now on top of this, there's a whole pile of demands. A normal kind of working day for me will be anywhere between a minimum of 6 hours and a maximum of 15 hours. We'll often work with away travel. We will often work 10 days in the bounce, 15 days in the bounce. Just depends how the fixtures lie, how you are staffing wise. Some conditioners will be the only person on their team, so if you work at football and you're the only person there, then you have to measure all of these matches. Away games are a whole another level of things that need to be done, dog shit work that needs to be done, but it's for the greater good of the team, as it were, so it needs done, so it gets done. And then so that's like a typical work day. And to get to this point of my career, I spent 6 years working 2 jobs. I got 2 degrees. Spent a lot of time in gyms, just working as a gym supervisor, training people for free, working part-time for the Institute of Sport. Eventually ended up quitting my gym supervisor role and working for the Institute of Sport and starting like this YouTube shit and starting up the website proper. I kept the blog beforehand, and then it's evolving as we go with it. But yeah, it's not. Some people might think it's an easy gig. It's not an easy gig. It is. It's definitely got upsides. It's got a lot of upsides. It's a great place to work. Anyway, you can get shit places to work within this industry. I'm very lucky to work within a great environment, great players, great staff. But you can end up with a job you hate, and you can go through a lot of work to get there. So it's not something to be taken lightheartedly. And let me assure you, you will not walk into a full-time gig in strength and conditioning unless you're very, very lucky. You'll need to spend a lot of time personal training, a lot of time interning, working for free, working part-time hours. Now, you're going to have to spend a lot of time on the periphery before you can get a sniff at working full-time. And then when you get a sniff, you're talking like 20k a year. 20 to 25k a year, and it's only a few people that will get past about 30, 40, like 40k. You're talking like very senior roles within institutes, when you get into professional sport, there is the opportunity to earn a fair bit more, but then it was very unstable, quite stressful, but also can be very rewarding. So hopefully that's educated a few people as to what it's actually like to be a strength and conditioning coach. My own personal love is actually coaching athletes and coaching lifters primarily. Something that I'd like to continue with and develop further and eventually do full time. But yeah, that's a day in life. Well, I hope that's been informative, enjoyable. Until the next episode, this is Mark signing out. Please, any questions or answers? Please, any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comment section. And you can email me at speedpowerperformance@gmail.com. Try to enunciate more. Find us on the web, castironstrength.com. Check us out on Facebook. Look at the Twitter handle that I don't use. This is Mark, your online strength coach podcast, signing out. Every day